Hey, what's up friends? I'm Darkoburi, the collector, and for this week's video, I've got a special Demon Slayer episode for you. But it's not just any special, it's the original versus the clone. Stick around to check it out. Here, as you can see, we have the original versus the clone, the original versus the clone. But for this Phoenix figure, I didn't get the chance to find the original. What we really need to pay attention to are the differences between the box and the figure, the colors, and what comes with each one. So, we're going to do a very careful review to make sure we catch everything. So you can tell your pieces apart, at least between these two, the original and the one they call the bootleg. And to start off, obviously, we're going to begin with Kamado Tanjiro. Like I said, we need to check out the pieces, both the box, which is where we'll start to see a lot of differences, and the figure itself. The first thing you can notice, and I'll make it really clear here, in my right hand, I have the original, and in my left hand, I have the clone. Right off the bat, when you look at the boxes, the colors are completely different. In what way? The color is more vibrant on this side, and obviously, it's a bit paler on this other side. What do we have here? I've always told you to check this really carefully. Here it says Ban Presto, the whole piece is shown, basically like a spoiler. Here we have some symbols, but down here, we see everything related to Bandai, the name of the anime Kimetsu No Yaiba, also known as Demon Slayer. And on this side, what do we have? If you notice, there's nothing on any side, obviously because this is a bootleg piece. In a moment, we'll give you the tip, or if you already know, leave it in the comments. Why are these kinds of pieces called bootlegs? Up here at the top, I almost always get figures directly from Japan, but I got this one in Mexico. Why? Because I wanted to show you a comparison between the bootleg and the original. In a moment, we'll do a close-up so you can see all the information that comes with it when you buy it in the country, and how it tells us it's for sale exclusively outside of Japan. Over here on this side, the color is also a bit paler, but there's nothing, no name of the anime, nothing saying it's for sale outside of Japan, and nothing indicating it's for national distribution here in Mexico. On the side, all we have is the image of the same figure, obviously, with brighter colors on this side and slightly duller colors on the other. On the other side, it's the same thing, the only difference is the color. But here on the back, check out everything we get on this side. Here, there's a bit more from Vaprito, and over here, there's nothing. The box stays plain. Down here as well, if you look, there's nothing on the bootleg, but here you get all the company info. So, to tell the difference between the original and the bootleg boxes, it's all those little details. The Van Presto logo. As always, since these are figures that are pretty easy to collect, the Bandai logo, all the instructions that come from outside Japan, and all the bad stuff we find here. Now let's go ahead and unbox the figures to see the differences between these two Kamado Tanjiro figures. The first thing we can notice is the size of both figures. Let's grab Kaya's sword here, Tanjiro, so you can see that in terms of height. Here they are back to back. He's just a little bit shorter. Our burned hero Tanjiro is missing a few centimeters. He needed some Danonino to grow a bit more. And remember, this isn't sponsored by Danone, it's by Darkoburi. And now, let's get started with the differences. I'm going to use the sword since both are now basically being held up in the air. Right off the bat, one of them came to me completely straight, and if you look at this one, it has a bit of a curve to this side. Also, the size of both swords. Let's take a closer look here. You can see that one is a little bigger than the other. Here it is. You can see it's a little crooked on this side. And let's take a look at the handle. Both are black, but here it looks kind of gray. Both have the same shape, the same design, but on this side, the original, half of the sword's handle is black and the top part is silver. The color overall is really uniform. Whereas on this side, up to this point on the sword, it turns black, and the rest of the piece stays silver. The color doesn't remain consistent like on the other piece. So, there's our first difference between the original piece and our puzzle piece. Let's zoom in so you can see the difference between both swords. Right off the bat, the hair color on both Kamado Tanjiros. Check it out. This one is a bit more red with this whole part of the design being darker, like they're giving the hair color a darker effect. However, this piece also has a bit more, faded hair color. And the biggest difference in the whole figure is on the face. Look at the design. It has the scar here on the face, but here there's a paint error on the bootleg that's a bit more noticeable. Here, Kamado Tanjiro's face is completely smooth except for the scar on his head, but it doesn't have this part here, like they missed that little detail. The earrings, though, they managed to copy them more or less the same, with the only difference being the color tone. Now, the hands, check it out. Here the hand is a bit more yellow, and over here, the skin tone is a bit lighter. That's another detail. And the face here looks a bit more squished inward. And here, the Banpresto face is a bit rounder. Now, let's look here. The sleeve is completely dark, and there's a paint error where it should be white. So at the wrist you can clearly see the paint flaws, while on our original piece it's a dark brown, not quite black, and the sleeve has the correct white color with a slight shadow inside where the sheath for the katana goes. Up here it's gold, while on the original piece it's just silver. And the whole Kamado Tanjiro outfit. We've done quite a few unboxings of our friend Kato, which you can find here on the Darkoburi channel. You already know that the whole inside of the outfit is brown, and on the back, which you can't see here, there's a kanji. So here, except for the color, there's no other difference besides the shade. But let's take a look at the back. Check out how what it has here is green and black, but we do have some paint errors here. There's this little orange spot that, if you look closely, I can't remove, and over here it's really smudged, and in some areas there's even white paint. This is something I didn't like about these pieces. Down here, it goes all the way to brown. Let's say it's pretty much almost the same, but here, notice that there's a bigger bump than the one we have on this side at knee level. And the color on the legs, here it's a bit more smudged, and here it's completely white. The sandal in the brown shade is the same on this side, but the head rolled a little bit there. Check out the paint errors on this piece, right here on this foot. And the last thing, which we'll also need to do a close-up of, is that here the base is completely clean. It doesn't say anything, while over here, on the bottom, we have the actual brand marking to show you that this is your original piece. I'm going to leave you with the full close-up, Kamado Tanjiro Original vs Bootleg, right here on the Darkoburi channel. And just to brag a little, let me remind you that I watched the whole season of Kimetsu No Yaiba on Crunchyroll, which is why I get the crunchy crate from Liquid Company. If you leave me 2 water breathing techniques from Kamado Tanjiro, you'll win one of these, and the second person to comment with 2 completely different techniques from the first comment will get these stickers. courtesy of our friends that looked in the crunchy crate. So stick around, let's get to the review of these two pieces. And stay alert because there will be more giveaways from our friends at Le Parade Company. Here the box, besides having paler colors, is completely plain. I've always told you to check for your Bandai. Down here your band presto. Here the logo of the anime series you're watching. In this case, Demon Slayer. Obviously, up here again we have Demon Slayer, the importer information here in Mexico. And as I told you, I had to get both pieces to do this mega unboxing so you could see the difference between the bootleg and the original. Here, you'll notice the box is totally plain. On the back, again, we see that it was Bandai Spirits who manufactured it, and below are all the instructions telling you it's not a toy, to keep it away from children under 15. And obviously, on the side, we have the difference in the figure, which in both cases is just the color. But we'll see that this changes with Nezuko in this triple unboxing of bootleg versus original that we have today. Too bad we can't compare the original here because I got a Sega piece, not exactly a band presto, so I couldn't do the comparison. But with Nezuko, yes, so stick around and let's check out the pieces. Here it's slightly less noticeable, but the original piece is also a bit bigger than the bootleg piece. First, with the full review of the piece, let's see, at least in my opinion, but leave a comment if you think I'm wrong. This bow is also just a little bit bigger than this one, regardless of the color. Honestly, I see it as a bit bigger, but here we're going to see a slightly more noticeable difference. Check out the bamboo that Nezuko has in her mouth. Remember, she's a demon. If you want to see other demon videos, you'll find them around here. Here we have the bamboo, which is used to keep her from eating human flesh and feeding, so she prefers to sleep to rest. Obviously, Tanjiro is carrying the bed, but check out the color of the handle here. They made it a bit more brown. And here they just said, whatever, if she's already pink, I'll just make everything pink. We also see that the face and the hands here, the skin color of this bootleg is a bit paler than the original. And another detail they missed in the bootleg is the hair. Check out how it falls on this side, and over here, the whole effect is gone, like the wind is blowing and her hair is just flying off that way. We're also going to see other differences in the color. Forget just the black part. When it comes around this side, here on the bootleg they left it really orange. And here you can see it's a darker orange, more in line with the black color that Nezuko's piece has here. On the other part here, the sash that goes around the abdomen, the green color is bigger. The strip that goes here on the original Nezuko. And check this out. Here they made it way thinner, so there's a pretty big difference there. As for the rest, let's just say it's mainly the color that changes. Both the stripes and the red and white squares, there's not much of an issue there. The color of the dress, regardless of the shade, isn't really a problem either. The hands, in terms of their position, I don't see much difference other than the color itself. Both have their nails painted pink. There's no issue with that. Here, if we do a close-up of both hands, both have their nails painted pink. But where you really start to see more noticeable differences is in this foot. If we look at the foot on this side, we'll see that here they basically cut off the foot. It starts here and they cut it off around the heel. On this one, you can actually see, let's call it the natural drop, the natural shape of the foot, as if it were stepping down. Here, we really need to look at it closely. And the color they used is kind of a mustard color, a slightly burned yellow. Over here, they just didn't care about the paint at all. They just slapped it down, however, and left it like that. Also, if you look on this side, you can see two white straps that go along this part of the leg. And here you can see a couple more, 1, 2. And if we look down, we see a third white strap. But on this piece over here, we only see 2 and 2. We'll do a close-up of both so you can really check out those differences. And the last thing left is the base. Like I said, the base of the bootleg doesn't have anything, while the base of the original still says it's from Banda Spirits, the brand. And you already know it's from Vaprito. And now I'm going to let you analyze both Nukos so you can decide which one works best for you. And to keep going with the Crunchy Crate giveaways, we're giving away these socks. Just tell me the name of the anime. Comment on the video. The socks are from this anime, and the first person to answer will get this pair of socks, courtesy of Crunchyroll Crate. And in the same way, if you tell me which anime this squishy is from, we'll send it right to your doorstep too. That's already 3 giveaways, so stick around because there are still 2 more to go. And now, let's get to the good stuff. Here we have the last bootleg figure we got for this special. Original versus clone doesn't mean one is better than the other. Honestly, I want you to see the differences in quality, size, and price, because at the end of the day, you decide how you want to build your collection. Like I said before, I couldn't get the original Zenith, not because I didn't want to, I just couldn't find it. But we've already seen 2 of them here, so let's take a look at this piece. Also, let me explain that the box doesn't have anything inside. Check it out. There's nothing. Same thing here, there's nothing inside. The last difference is that when you take out your piece, your figure, these parts come in little bags to protect the paint. Here, it only came with these bubble wraps, which also protect your piece, but they don't protect the color as much. Let me put the base together here, which also comes separately. Let me assemble the figure. Let's do a close-up of the piece and check out all the details of this Zenith here on the Darkoburi channel. If we look at it completely by itself, the only thing we'll notice is that the color is a little bit paler, but we don't have the original figure to compare it to. What details did I notice first? As you know, the base also doesn't have anything. The base doesn't say anything. Here, the eyes seem a bit more unsettling to me, like there's a face inside the eyes, which really shouldn't be the case. Here, let's remember that the horse has always been this yellow color, and on the bottom it has this orange color that's typical of the character. He goes along with Kamado and is totally in love with Nuko, so every time he gets really scared, remember that he faints, and when he faints, that's when his true power comes out. His grandfather trained him, and one of the best pieces of advice his grandfather gave him was, if you only know how to do one thing, do that thing 1,000,000 times, train it, do it really well so you become the best at it. And he only learned one technique with his sword, the thunder technique. He only knows one, but he can multiply it millions of times over to make it even more powerful. Here we can also see that the feet just totally gave up and don't even fit, so to speak, on the big toe. Here you can see it's fitting, but over here it's just kind of loose. And this part also seems a little strange to me, the part that goes here in front with these kind of weird colors. It's something I didn't really like about the piece. The last thing I noticed is this part of the sleeves. Check out that it has this kind of grayish color. Maybe they should have used a darker, more black color to make this shadow. Other than that, everything else is pretty good, let's say, It looks pretty good, this piece, just with the detail of the color and maybe this part. Let's do the close-up here on the sleeve where you can see these little lines that go along the original costume. If you go to the video we did of Figwatch Zero, it doesn't have this part, which is what I used for comparison. However, Figwatch Zero is a piece of really high quality. And here with this bootleg, in this part right here, we see this flaw. I'll leave Zenith here so you can see him. We've reached the end of this mega video. If you liked it, leave a comment, and if not, do it anyway. Remember, we left you several trivia questions from the Crunchyroll crate, but you can only participate once, and only your first answer will count because we want more friends, fans, and people to win prizes. Remember to follow us on all our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and video. Check out our social networks, leave comments, and tell us what you thought about the original versus the bootleg. Honestly, the bootleg has shortcomings. Nothing compares to the original Van Presto piece, but it's still worthy of collecting. These bootlegs too. Also, check out Darkoburi's page for figures, mugs, thermoses, keychains, collectibles, Darkoburi stickers, and a bunch of collectibles to help you grow or start your collection. And if you thought I'd forget what we're giving away, of course not. We're giving you a chance to win. Many of our lady fans asked us to give away something for them, since it's always Goku and Dragon Ball. Well, now you can win a Sakura card captor figure. If you leave the names of 10 cards she captured, just drop them in the comments. You know the drill. Go to the YouTube channel, leave a comment with the names of the 10 cards, say you're entering for this piece, and you could win it in our giveaway every Tuesday on Instagram, on Darkoburi's social media. And now, all that's left is to ask you to leave your suggestions if you want us to talk about Sakura card captor. I actually have quite a few pieces. Or if you want us to talk about another anime. Today I wanted to do this comparison between the original and the bootleg because I think it's important so you don't get scammed when you want to grow or start your collection. So leave all your thoughts in the comments. Check out all our social media. Hit like, turn on notifications, share, show us lots of love. And you know, Darkoburi, pick out.